on another Friday morning for our weekly real estate show. My name is Angela Olmos, if we haven't met yet. I'm a full-time realtor in the Northeast Florida area, and I'm here with my co-host, Delaney Bravo, who's a mortgage expert with Fiber Mortgage. How you doing today, girl?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited for the weekend. Lots of exciting things happening. And we're here, like we do every Friday, to share with you guys some cool info about the real estate market. We do this, as an informational piece. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them on the comments below. But what I wanted to chat with you guys about today, and we'll make this conversational. So if I talk too much, Delaney, remember to ask me a question.
Perfect.
All right, so we'll do that. So today's topic is having to do with the housing market has only half of the inventory that we normally would have. And when we look at, the amount of supply, it does really have a way of impacting the market, because today's housing market only has 647,000 listings. And I'm sure this is all across the country, but inventory is still very low. I mean, it sounds like a big number, 647,000, but it's not really when you look in perspective of what we normally would have had at this time of the year. In 2017, there were 1.3 million listings. In 2018, there was 1.2 million listings. In 2019, there was 1.2 again. And then here we're at nearly half of the inventory. So it's important to remember that, because as if you're a buyer, what that means to you is that you do have a little bit more room and more flexibility to make a choice on, what you might have, but it's not a whole lot of inventory. So you don't want to wait too long before placing an offer. And there's simply not enough homes for sale. The market can easily be absorbed by doubling the inventory. And that's what Lawrence Young, the chief economist at NAR, had to say. So what that means is that buyers don't have enough options right now. So if you work with an agent to list your house, it should be on the spotlight. And if you're thinking of selling or buying, definitely let's connect. There's only about half the number of homes for sale as they were last year. So, and you're in previous markets before COVID. So what that means is that buyers don't have enough options right now. So with that in mind, just remember, it's important to work with someone that is local, that knows exactly how to navigate through that inventory, and make sure that you have the best potential of getting the home that you want.
Well, and one quick thing to add on the mortgage side is the biggest objection I get from buyers right now, and let me know if this is the same with you, a lot of times, is that rates are higher than they have been the last couple years. Therefore, they know their payment will be a little bit higher. One thing to note is if our inventory, the amount of homes on the market, is half of what maybe a typical market is, when even though rates are up here. So not as many people are buying at this exact moment. Not that I agree with that. I still think it's an amazing time to buy. But let's say rates come down and they go to a 3% again. Every single buyer who has been waiting is going to now flood the market and say, I'm ready to buy a home. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden what is being sold is going to go up to 1.2 million. That means that competition is going to be so much higher. Would you agree? And that means higher price points, because sellers are going to be able to pick what they want to do. If they know if inventory is low and there's that many buyers, that they can raise the price of what they can ask for their home. They're not going to have to give any credits. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, yeah. And it really varies also with the price points. I've noticed there's the ones that are easier to blow at, those price points that are, let's say, under 400, there's a very fast, still moving market in that price point. There's still a lot of demand, because there isn't enough supply. So it really just plays into the whole dynamics of the market. So I look at, okay, what's the price point? How many other people would there be competing for that same home? How long has it been on the market? What's the seller's situation? You might have a motivated seller, you might not. So all of those things are important to consider as you're structuring your offer to make sure that you get it.
Absolutely. Let me see. So I'm going to breeze over this really quick. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Every single time I forget where the share my screen button is, I tell you. Okay. Window, Chrome tab. Okay. Let me go here and share. Make this half. Okay. So if you bring that up, let me go back to the correct thing right here. Oh no, I must have just shared my tab and not my actual. There we go. Okay, sorry, technical difficulty. If you put that up there, then I'll be ready.
So, there could be a lot of things that happen during the live video, but we're getting through it. It's all good.
You're getting the real us here. Okay, so I'm going to breeze through this, but moral of the story here is we stream this on YouTube and Facebook, and I just did a full post on this where you can really dig into these different slides in that post. So click my name. Angela will always tag me in these videos, and then I'll share them on my page as well. So you can go in and check that all out. That being said, Hometown Heroes, amazing down payment assistance program. I've talked about it on this little show. They restocked the funds to 100 million on July 3rd. It is out of funds as of a couple days ago. So we'll just say August 23rd. So $100 million in assistance was used within a month and a half, which is amazing. That's so many more buyers and homes that maybe wouldn't be able to buy otherwise. So,
and is that a state-specific program? Is that just in the state of Florida, $100 million were used for down payment assistance within the last month?
Yep, just Florida. There's many states have their own form of this, but yes, these funds were just used in Florida.
Okay.
So the thing is, if you were pre-approved with a Hometown Heroes assistance loan, those funds are no longer there. The only way that you are safe and your funds are reserved is if your loan is approved and locked. So if you haven't found a house yet, you're not under contract, your loan is not approved, and you weren't locked in, then those funds are no longer there. So I have quite a few buyers that were looking to use this program. So what do we do now, right? Do you get buyers asking about assistance? Like, is that something pretty typical that you see or you get asked about semi-often?
Sometimes I do. I haven't had one recently, but I know this program has been really popular and some people know about it. So, I'm not surprised that it's run out of funds so fast.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you that it went from 26,000. And of course, the scarcity, think about the same thing that we just talked about with the market. It went from, $30,000 in funds were used within the first week. But it got down to about 20 million, which again, scarcity, demand goes up. So then the last 25,000 or 25 million of funds like that, because everybody was rushing to get their lock and get approved and all of that. So what are our options now? Now what, right? Where do we go from here if you need assistance? There's a lot of programs. And again, go to my page and look at this because I'm not going to obviously roll through everything, but there's a grant program. You get your whole down payment covered with this grant. It is a true grant. It does not need to be paid back. That is the big kicker. Hometown Heroes had to be paid back when you sell or refinance your home. This does not. And it goes on a 620 credit score. Hometown Heroes required a 640. The downside to this option, which I'm very upfront, Angela, you know this. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, because I want you to make the best informed decision as a buyer. The interest rate is going to be higher on this. You were going to have to pay back 20 grand. You get 20 grand with no strings attached. There has to be a trade-off there.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. So there's this option and it's an amazing option. We also have a forgivable option. So the difference between a grant and a forgivable is a grant is free money and there's no strings attached whatsoever. A forgivable option means you have to stay in the home for X amount of years for that to then fall off. This option is also down payment fully covered, but it falls off after 3 years. I was on the phone with the rep from the entity that provides this, and I asked a very pertinent question on my side is, what about if they don't make an on-time payment? Life happens. What about if you make one payment late? Then that clock for 3 years starts over. So if you would have to move before the 3 years, it would be due back. So this is another amazing option, and it has a 600 minimum credit score. So if you thought, oh gosh, I can't do anything, my credit's not the greatest, just simply not true. So, I mean, two bomb options that in many cases are better than Hometown Heroes. So I wasn't always recommending Hometown Heroes when people wanted assistance. I would go to these programs as well. And then the Florida Bond program, you can read all about it, but this is a flat $10,000 of assistance, which depending on your price point could be more than just your down payment. So this one is an option as well, but it has to be repaid when you sell or refinance the home. So a lot of options there. And then 640 on that credit score. The last two are ones I know you've worked with before. Have you done a lot of USDA? I'm not seeing barely anybody looking at qualifying or buying with USDA loans right now. Are you?
So, I did back in the day when certain areas of St. John's County were considered rural areas, because that's the thing with the USDA, right? They have to be rural, as in, I think there's a criteria for that, either underpopulated or there's a criteria. They just figure out if it's rural or not. And believe it or not, a long time ago, when Nocatee first started, that was considered a rural area. And there were some USDA loans given at that time. I'm talking like probably 10 years ago. So it's been a long time since I've seen this, but that's where I've come across. And then last year I had a listing somewhere in Hastings, which is farther out west. And that was very much rural. And that was one of the options that there could have been for financing for that home. But we ended up finding a different buyer that ended up paying cash. So it worked out.
Yeah. So Angela really hit all the points. It's for more rural areas, but don't let that trick you. There are tons of areas in St. John's, Clay County, Nassau, Baker, Putnam that are, that qualify. So the first thing that I look at here is I'm going to go to USDA and see if that fits your criteria, because it's a 0% down payment. It's not, you don't have to worry about paying it back, anything like that. So great option, but there are income limits. You have to be under an income limit, and you have to be also in that income level, as well as there's purchase price limits. So you can't do USDA to buy $1 million house. So something to know there. The last one really quickly, a VA loan. This is reserved for military, active duty, veterans, and surviving spouses. And I'm doing a loan right now for a surviving spouse. So don't forget to ask that. If you are a surviving spouse of a veteran, that is always an option that you can look at there. So 550 minimum score, no down payment, really awesome. So moral of the story, get with me. We have multiple options. Just because one program is out of funds doesn't mean there's not an option for you. And I specialize in these. So get with me if you want to learn more. And that's my little shtick and my spiel today.
Yeah, and I think this was super helpful. A lot of people think that, because you have one option, it definitely is a great option for them, but it's not a one size fits all kind of approach. You definitely want to meet with the lender and then find out, like, from your situation, what the lady would recommend, just based on the options that are offered.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Tons of ways to buy a home. Don't let a down payment or money for closing stand in your way. You're paying 100% interest if you're renting. You are not getting any of that money. You're not building any equity. So if you're renting right now, even if the rate is higher on these programs, it is going to pay off in the long run for you in all the other ways that you benefit from owning a home. So definitely get with me, but let's get into some events this weekend. Okay. So, if it loads, it likes to take a minute. Jumbo Shrimp, this happens all the time. I am still surprised, our chat friend that wants to hang out, I'm surprised how many baseball games there are. Like, in comparison to other sports, every time I go on to pull events, there's always a baseball game.
Yeah, who would have thought we were so big into baseball here in Jacksonville? I've been to a baseball game. It's been a while ago. I think it was through our brokerage. We had like a little get together a while ago at the stadium, or at the baseball stadium, and that was fun. Have you been recently?
I have, and a really unique thing that I've never been to one. My daughter's 4, so we are kind of riding that line on attention span. Let's just get
Yeah.
real. But I went to a birthday party. Somebody did a birthday party there, and there's like a little like you can go in a dugout, and they have a kids area. So I thought that was a really cool idea for a birthday party.
Yeah, that would be.
Yes, and they kind of like put it off. You get snacks, you can get like hot dogs and chips and all of that delivered right there to you. So really fun idea. And there's 2 this weekend. I don't think I put both of them up here, but I think there's August 30th and 31st. So not this exact weekend, but coming up. So be on the lookout for those. Also, we have the Home and Garden Show. So this is pertinent to what we are doing here today. I have actually worked multiple booths at Home and Garden shows, this exact event over the years, not doing it this year, but it's from Friday to Monday. So September 1st through September 4th. And there are hundreds of vendors. So if you own a home, are looking to buy a home, or you just want something fun to do, go to this. They have everything, and they do huge discounts on things. They have hot tubs there. They have solar panels, painting, all sorts of home decor, things like that. Have you been to this before?
Yes, it's been a little while, but I remember getting like a top of the line shower head, like a $500 shower head for like $100, and it still works. So yeah, they do have some like really great accessories for the house. They have all kinds of stuff. I mean, I would want to go.
Yes. So super fun. And they usually have like somebody from HGTV that comes and speaks too. So if you're one of those, then go check it out. And the last is one that I am super duper interested in. My favorite type of music is reggae music, and Slightly Stoopid is coming September 1st to Daly's Place with some amazing acts behind them as well. So if you are into some beachy vibes and, really looking to do something fun, this is just a fun date night, fun thing to do. I don't know how kid friendly it is because, we're talking reggae music and there's probably some cussing and stuff in there, but super duper fun. So that one's coming up, and I did just look up tickets for myself, and they are starting at for obviously not the best seats, around like $55 to $60. So nothing crazy. That's about dinner and a movie right there. So just something fun and different. So those are some things going on this weekend.
Yeah, man, that sounds amazing. Sounds like a good time this weekend. So there's some of the stuff that you guys can get into. And if you happen to be out and about and you see a home that you might like living in, or you might want to buy as an investment property, please connect with us. The very first thing you would want to do is get pre-qualified. You would want to know how you're going to be able to make that purchase. And Delaney can help you with that. It's a free application. Really, you'll only be investing just a few minutes of your time, and you'll come out with so much knowledge and hopefully a pre-approval. And then once that's done, then we'll move on to the second step, and that's when you'll meet with me, and I'll find out what's important to you about that home and help you strategize to make it just what you want from it. So I look forward to hearing from you guys, okay? And please do share, if you know of anyone who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. All right, guys, so until next time, just remember to be kind to one another, and we will see you guys on the next video. Take care.